Just because there's money in the bank doesn't mean it's your money. And I'm going to say it again. Just because there's money in the bank, entrepreneur, doesn't mean it's your money. And Profit First is a system to allow you to have a way to know exactly how much of the money that's in the bank is yours and how much of the money is for payroll, how much is for bills, how much is for profit, how much is for tax. Helps you know exactly what your money is about. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Pivot to Profit. I am your host, Pam Jordan, and today's show is going to be a little different because I am pulling back the curtain to show you the system that I use with my business and we implement with a lot of our clients, and it's called Profit First. I've done another episode where we've talked about this with Alexis, our tax guru, and I've also done an interview with the amazing Ron Sharahan, who is a co-founder of Profit First with Mike Michalowicz. If you're not watching the video, I'm holding up a book called Profit First. Mike Michalowicz is the author. Look, most businesses focus so hard on their sales, and at the end of the day, they have nothing left to show for it. So first, I want to talk about why profit matters. I say this at the end of all of my episodes. It's not what you make that matters, it's what you keep. And here's why. Your profit, the money that's left over, is how your company is going to be valued on exit. If selling is on your agenda one day, a business that comes in to buy you, a private equity, whoever it is, their first question is not going to be, how great are your systems? Tell me about your team. Their first question is going to be, let me see your numbers. They want to know what your EBITDA is. They want to know what your profitability is. Because if you're not profitable, people won't buy you. 98% of businesses sell for a multiple of EBITDA, which is a multiple of your profit. Most businesses do not sell for a multiple of top line revenue. And unfortunately, too many business owners are so focused on sales and ignoring their profit that when it's time to exit, they simply do not get enough money. Profit is also pivotal to helping you pay down your debt. And this is something that business owners can get confused about. So that monthly payment that you make for your EIDL loan, your SBA loan, your whatever loan that you have, the principal portion, which is typically the larger portion, does not show up on your P&L anywhere. That shows up on your balance sheet. And so if you have debt, for example, I've got one client, he's got a $600,000 EIDL loan. He's paying almost $3,000 a month. That's $2,500 roughly a month in principal is coming out of the business bank accounts and going to the principal portion of his loans. Nowhere does it show up on the P&L. It shows up on the balance sheet. And so when he was going through his numbers, he's like, oh, look how profitable I am. And we had to explain to him that, well, $2,500 a month is actually going to your principal portion of your debt. So here's the thing. If you aren't profitable, you do not have money to pay down your debt. If you are not profitable, you also do not have cash available to invest. I have so many people in my network that have amazing opportunities to invest in real estate syndications, Forex trading, solar panels, like all of these crazy opportunities. I went to a meeting the other week about mining farms for Bitcoin. It was fantastic. But to take advantage of those opportunities, you have to have liquid cash. And the liquid cash comes from your profits of your business, not from having amazing sales. The other thing that profit allows you to do is to take advantage of tax strategies. We've done a number of podcast episodes about tax strategies, and many of them do take cash. Because if you have cash at the end of the year, you can either be like everyone else and pay the IRS, or you can take that cash and put it to work for you to reduce your taxes and grow your wealth. But if you have no cash, you're still going to owe the IRS and you won't be able to take advantage of tax strategies. And Profit First is an amazing, amazing tool to ensure that you have that money sitting in a bank account to take advantage of tax strategies. And finally, your profit allows you to make an impact. Most entrepreneurs start out as a business owner to make a difference in the world, to make a difference in their community, in their family, in the lives of their team members. Well, if you don't have profit, you can't do that. You can't pay your team well. You can't be generous. You can't make kingdom impact with your money if you don't have profit to make those steps. So profit isn't greedy. It's the engine that drives sustainability and freedom in your business. So enter Profit First. I learned about Profit First probably around 2015. I did not regrettably read the book until 2017, and I did not read it. I listened to it on Audible. I was driving back and forth to a client, and it was an hour drive each way. And I remember listening to the Audible book of Profit First by Mike Michalowicz and literally loving and arguing with Mike, because Mike does read the book. So I highly recommend, if you're interested, get the Audible version, because Mike tells additional stories and he's just super animated in how he speaks. But I remember driving on these country roads in North Carolina and loving what he was saying, but also arguing with him, because you see, I'm an accountant. I have my MBA. I can make a budget and follow a budget. But at that point, I realized there's thousands of entrepreneurs out there that are amazing at what they do and don't so much love budgets, don't so much love cash flow forecasts the way that I do. And so I realized, after listening to the book or reading it, that this is a powerful, powerful tool to help entrepreneurs who are amazing at what they do, but don't want to deal with the numbers, to be able to manage their cash flow really, really well. Because Profit First isn't just about focusing on profit. It is a cash management tool. It is a system to help you manage the business money. And unfortunately, too many entrepreneurs are just managing the cash based on what's in the bank account. And I've said this so many times, but just because there's money in the bank doesn't mean it's your money. And I'm going to say it again. Just because there's money in the bank, entrepreneur, doesn't mean it's your money. And Profit First is a system to allow you to have a way to know exactly how much of the money that's in the bank is yours, and how much of the money is for payroll, how much is for bills, how much is for profit, how much is for tax. Helps you know exactly what your money is about. So that's where, once I realized that Profit First was an amazing tool to help entrepreneurs, I went all in. And so I myself am a Profit First professional, which means I have been gone through training and certified and licensed with Profit First to be able to speak about it, teach it. I have trained hundreds of business owners on Profit First and have seen amazing life-changing results, both in myself and especially my clients' lives. And I'll share some of those stories with you. But what is Profit First? What are the bones of it? Really, it comes down to a simple formula: sales less profit equal expenses. And if you're scratching your head right now, we just flip the formula. Typical logical accounting says sales less expenses equals profit. Well, that is just hoping and praying that there's going to be profit at the end of the day. And I've spoken to hundreds of business owners, and if you are hoping and praying that profit's going to be there at the end of the day, it's not. So that's where, when you flip this on its head and you say, everything comes in, I'm going to put my profit first. I'm going to put it to the side, and with what's left, that's how I'm going to run my business. It is a life-changing move that you can make for your business. And how this is done is with separate bank accounts. So think of it like the envelope system. In the old days, grandma and grandpa would come home from the mill with a wad of cash. Grandma would have a grocery envelope, a car envelope, a mortgage envelope, a clothing envelope, a utilities envelope. And when she would go to the grocery store, she'd pull out her little grocery envelope and march herself to the grocery store. And that's what she had to spend that week. It's very similar, but it's utilizing bank accounts. And the thing about Profit First is it's a framework, but it's not the Bible. It's not set in stone. And so, to be honest, I've implemented Profit First with hundreds of companies, and no one does it exactly like the book says, because every company is a little different. So they need a separate bank account, or they need to change the name of this. But the bones of it is there's 5 bank accounts. There's an income account, and that's where all your money comes into. That's where your merchant processor gets deposited. All of your ACHs, your wires get transferred there. No bills get paid out of that. Then you have an OPEX account. That's where all of your bills get paid out of. Then you have a owner's comp account. This is your bank account. This is where you get paid from. This is where your lifestyle expenses get taken care of. You've heard me talk about accountable plan. That's where this money comes from. Then there's a tax account. And this is money not to go to the IRS, my friends. This is money that is going to go to tax strategy. So it does not go to the IRS. But like I said earlier, profit is how we have money in that account so that we can take advantage of things. Because we as tax strategists have over 1,600 strategies we can do, but some of them do take cash and you need to have cash. And that's where having a tax account means that you've got 12, 40, 60, $100,000 sitting there that we can deploy on your behalf to reduce your taxes and grow your wealth. And finally, the crown jewel of this whole system is a profit account, because queens and kings, profit is what we are working for here. So how it comes in is all money comes into the income account, and by a percentage, you split the money into each one of those accounts. There's a chart on page 64 of the book as to what those numbers should be. Look, guys, profit first is simple in theory, but it's a little challenging to implement. If you want help, just go to pamjordan.com. We would love to talk to you about Profit First and how we've implemented this system with hundreds of entrepreneurs. But you create the money movement allocations based on your current business. And so step one is just to do an instant assessment to realize, where is my money now? How is it being spent? And what is step one? Because no one goes directly to the perfect allocations, according to the book, on day one. Day one is fantastic. I can put 1% in profit, 1% in tax, because I need 98% of my money to run my business. And that's perfectly fine on day one. But as you start this behavior, it's a change in thought process. And it helps you as a business owner better understand your money. Because far too often people say, oh, well, I don't have enough profit to do Profit First. Bull. Because if you were just to put that 1, 2, 5% into those profit or tax accounts, you will figure out as a business owner how to make things happen. Why? Because you're an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs know how to make things happen. You know how to get one more deal in. You know how to cut and save. Profit First is an amazing system to help you manage your cash. And I have never had a client fail using Profit First. I have only had clients succeed using Profit First. So let me tell you some success stories. First, I'm going to tell you mine, if you'll allow me. Part of becoming a Profit First professional and being certified is I had to implement Profit First in my own business. And that was a little embarrassing because I was like, look, I have a budget. I know how to manage money. Ta-da-da. I have a cash forecast. Like, why do I need this system? But it was part of the process. So I opened all the bank accounts and I started moving all the money. And I got my husband and I out of all of our consumer debt because of Profit First. So not only did my business thrive and have more money than it ever did, but also because I had an owner's comp account and a profit account and a tax account, I was able to pay off our personal debt, our cars, credit cards, those sort of things in my personal life. And then we were able to go on a nice little vacation to celebrate that we had made this big achievement. So that's the success of using it in my own business. And I still use Profit First today. I'd still do my allocations twice a month on the 10th and the 25th. I pay bills and negotiate all payment bills with my vendors on the 10th and the 25th. I literally had a vendor come and say that the bill's due on the 5th. And I was like, no, it's not. I use Profit First. I don't pay until the 10th. And they're like, oh, okay, well, tell me more about Profit First. And so I got a client out of that because I was able to show him like, hey, no, I have a system for how I pay bills. So client number 2 is an e-commerce, a big Amazon seller, loving life, making a lot of money, but had a huge problem because in the e-commerce world, you have to have a lot of cash to purchase inventory. And if you don't have cash for inventory, you don't have product to sell on Amazon, you don't make money. It's a big cycle of chasing your tail with money. We implemented Profit First, opened the bank accounts, plus opened an additional bank account for inventory. And so a percentage of every dollar that came in from sales went into inventory. So what this did is it allowed him to take advantage of opportunities because a lot of his distributors would have deals. Hey, we've got, 1,000 lots of this SKU, but I've got to sell them all right now. I'll give you a discount. And then prior to, this client had not been able to take advantage of those things because he didn't have the liquid cash. But now, because he has the inventory cash account, he's able to take advantage of those large bulk purchases, which gets him more profit because A, he has the cash, so he's not using debt, and B, his profit margin when he sells those products is even higher, so he can put more money into his profit and tax account, to take advantage of more things. And this particular gentleman, when he got his first profit distribution, he sent me a photo of him and his family at Legoland, because that was their profit distribution celebration of we've worked hard, we've put our head down, we've used the system, and now we have this money in the profit account that's ours to use however we want. And for him, it was to take him and his wife and his little kids to Legoland. So that was really awesome to have that photo of like, look, you did it. Another fun one is I had a gentleman in the fitness space, health spa, med spa, those kind of things. And his wife is very successful. He's got a beautiful studio, but it was really struggling with cash flow and pricing and all that. So we came in as CFOs and helped with that structure, but also implemented profit first. And on his first profit distribution, he was actually able to pay himself. And his wife was like, babe, you don't have a hobby anymore. You have a real business now, because he was actually able to pay himself. So it was really sweet to be able to help their marriage, for him to be like, look, I am winning. I do have a viable business, and I can now pay myself regularly, plus get profit distributions. And their particular celebration, it's a funny story. So his first profit distribution was, he's a beer guy. His original celebration was, it was like $60 is all he had in his profit account, is he went out and got some craft beer that he liked and took his wife to a movie. And it's funny because 2 quarters later, when he did his next profit distribution, they stayed at the Ritz-Carlton and then went to a fancy bougie dinner. So just how in a short amount of time of implementing this process, their celebration for having a profit went from beer and a movie to staying at the Ritz-Carlton. So it's an amazing, effective system. And then one of our biggest success stories is someone in the marketing space who implemented profit first. And we were really able to use this to set money aside for tax strategy for him. Because when he came into the system, he was profitable, but the money was just disappearing. All the money was going into one account. And at the end of the month, we were like, where did it go? And so by using profit first, we were able to designate the money to all these accounts. And we were able to be really clear as to where the money is, what it's meant for. And so this gentleman does a lot for his local community. And so he was able to write some pretty large checks to some nonprofits in the town that he lives in out of generosity to make an impact in his community. And he was also able to take some nice trips with his family. And when it came tax time, his traditional CPA said, congratulations, looks like you had a great year. You owe the IRS $70,000. And he said, no, I don't. I have $80,000 in my tax account. I want to implement this strategy, this strategy, and this strategy. And we knocked his tax bill down to $5,000. So because he had cash available, he was able to take advantage of those opportunities. So all of these are success stories and impact, small ones, big ones, of what can happen when you manage your cash well. And Profit First is an amazing tool to do that. Is it the tool for everyone? No, but it's a great framework to start with for a lot of business owners. And as you grow and as your business needs change, so does the framework that you need to use. But for a lot of entrepreneurs, step one can be Profit First and opening those additional bank accounts and setting that money aside, because it's a change in behavior, friends. It's a change in how you look at your money. It's a change in how you see your business. And it's really making your business a priority, making your profit a priority, so that when you're going out and you're having conversations with your clients and sales calls and referral partners, you're remembering that it's your profit that makes the difference, not your sales. Because we have clients that their sales are up 5%, but their profit's up 110. And that is winning at this game of business, because when it's exit time for them, and that is on their 3-year agenda, they're going to get more than other competitors, not because of their sales, but because of their profitability. Because Profit First isn't just chasing sales, it's chasing what truly matters, which is what's left over at the end of the day after you've paid your expenses, done your fulfillment costs. And if you're not focusing on your profit at the end of the day, there's going to be nothing left. So look, entrepreneur, if cash flow is stressful for you, if you're like, I can't make payroll, I don't know where my money's going, we would love to talk to you. My company, Pivot Business Group, is here to support entrepreneurs just like you. Most of our clients are doing at least $750 in total sales. And some of them, when they walk in the door to us, they have no profitability, That's what we're here for. Our fractional CFO services help you grow your profit. We will implement profit first. We are bookkeepers and we are amazing at tax strategy. So whether you have a huge tax bill or a small tax bill, we are here to support you. If you're interested in profit first, we would love to talk to you about it. Again, we've implemented this cash flow management system with hundreds of businesses. Simply go to pamjordan.com, hit the contact button. We would love to be there for you. Make sure that you like and subscribe our videos and our podcast so that we can keep bringing more amazing content to you and sharing the profit stories of amazing entrepreneurs just like you. Thank you so much. That's all for today. Remember, it's not what you make that matters. It's what you keep.